Hey guys, Cactus Smasher here, ready to do another review. I just got this in the mail today from Amazon. I've already seen it, but I liked it so much that I wanted to buy it. It's the movie Scarecrows from 1988, and it's directed by William Wesley. And basically, it's a low-budget horror movie, and it's about this band of criminals, and they pull off this like really complicated like military style robbery of a bank, and they still steal like $5 million or something like that. And but one of them basically takes a big thing of the money and he just runs off with it, and he parachutes off into this, field in the middle of nowhere. And they all realize what he's done, and so they all parachute down and go after him, along with the pilot and his daughter, who they've kind of kidnapped. And in this sort of field, there's this weird little farmhouse, and surrounded by this farmhouse are all of these weird scarecrows just sort of sitting there, and it's real creepy and strange. And basically, they start, looking around to try and find the guy who stole the money. But then what happens is they systematically start getting killed off by scarecrows. And I've just heard about this movie a lot, like on the internet and stuff like that. It was like kind of a cult classic, and I never really knew much about it, but I always really liked scarecrows. I always thought scarecrows were like really creepy and interesting, and there aren't really that many good horror movies involving them. So, it seemed interesting, so I watched it on Netflix, and I was actually pleasantly surprised, because this is actually a really good movie. I mean, it's very simplistic, it's just a simple plot. It's just these guys, they get into a cornfield, and it's surrounded by scarecrows, and the scarecrows just kill them all off. It's a simple plot, but it's done really well. It's so beautiful in like its minimalism, and the best thing about it is the atmosphere. It positively drips with it. Like, it was made for less than $500,000, but you would never know that. Like the scarecrow effects, it's like all makeup, and it looks really great. And everything is like bathed in shadow and just darkness, and like just the opening shot is just a shot of the camera slowly zooming in on one of the scarecrow's faces. It's so creepy, and for a long time, you're not really sure what's going on, because you never see the scarecrows actually move, I think, until about at least like 30 minutes into the movie. So you're kind of not really sure what's going on, and it's just it kind of builds this tension really beautifully. And one of the things that I really like about it is that it doesn't offer really a straight explanation as to why these scarecrows are here and why they're coming to life and attacking them. See, in a bad movie, like Neon Maniacs, in a bad movie, when they do that, it sort of comes off like they couldn't think of what to do. But in this movie, it really it gives it this sense of like surreal, dreamlike atmosphere, and it makes it scarier that way, because it could be any reason. I mean, they imply a few things here and there, but they never give you a straight answer, and it's really creepy that way. Not to mention, not only is it, atmospheric and creepy, which you don't see in a lot of horror movies, but there's also a decent amount of gore as well, and the death scenes are pretty interesting, because what happens is, when they kill people, they don't just kill them, they actually, like, stuff them with straw, and they become sort of like scarecrow zombies, that like can't be killed, like even if you dismember them, and it's really, it gives it this kind of, the whole thing, it makes it feel very surreal and strange, and almost like a nightmare, and there's this really great scene where like one of the guys like gets stabbed in the face with like a shovel, and then his corpse comes back, and he's got like this split going down his mouth, and it's so creepy, and it's so cool. I was really surprised at how good this was for what it is, and I liked it so much that I went online and I bought it, and I plan to show it to my friends this Halloween, because I really liked it. I believe the cinematography was done by the same guy who's done like Cabin in the Woods and Evil Dead 2, and it really shows, because it's gorgeous. It's a beautiful looking movie, and it's remarkably kind of, it's a little bit of like a slow burn. I mean, it's a short movie. It's like an hour and 25 minutes or something, but it's kind of like it has a very deliberate pace, and it's kind of like a very slow burn, which I really like. Um, it kind of builds tension really well, and the characters, like they're very unusual characters because they're not just like random people who just stumbled in. Like they give them this really interesting backstory. Like I said, they're like these kind of military like robber people, and you get just enough characterization that they stay interesting even when it's not when the Scarecrows aren't around. There's a little bit of overacting, a little bit, but I think they're very good for this kind of movie. And it's very, very creepy. And then there's this one part where one of the guys, like, he starts theorizing about why this is happening, and it's really creepy. It's one of the creepiest parts in the movie. And it's a little bit like, it reminds me a little bit of Night of the Living Dead, because it's like in one location in one single night, and it's this group of people trying to like overcome this horde of monsters. And in that sense, it's really, really well done. Of course, it's not as good as Night of the Living Dead. I mean, what is? But it's that same kind of concept, and it's that same sort of minimalism that Night of the Living Dead had, and it pulls it off beautifully. I think as far as like killer Scarecrow movies go, this is one of the best. And if you like horror movies, especially like cult, like 80s horror movies, and you like horror movies that are creepy rather than just straight up gore, you will love this movie. This movie is great. I highly recommend it. I paid $9 for it, but I would have paid more. So it's just great. You have to see it. But yeah, that's my review of Scarecrows from 1988. I'm Cactus Smasher. I'll see you guys later. Bye.